Zoe here. I have another scrapbook page for you again today. I'm just going to go through my scrapbox and find some papers that I think might go with this picture. Now this picture is pretty dark. It was taken in really low light in a very dark room. Actually, the room was quite dark in colour, and then it had dark curtains, and he's holding a dark cat. So yeah, it's a pretty dark picture, so I'm going to try to lighten it up with some colour, but I'm not looking to add too much colour because I think it would be incredibly distracting. Can you believe we're on the 18th already? 18! I cannot. I know I keep saying where is the week going, but the month, going, but it's so true. Anyway, you can see I've pulled some scraps out here, and I've just gotten rid of the red piece that I pulled out because it was too glaring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and trim these pieces down into triangles. I'm going to use various different sizes. I fancy having a triangular design. I love this paper. I love it so much. It's actually the back of this really beautiful gold stripe that came with the crepe paper Wonder, and I've been hoarding it for the gold glittery side. But this got little minty cats on it, which is super cute. So you can see this is the pieces I've cut out of my scraps, and some of the pieces from I believe it was from the crepe paper. Not Heart Day. What was the one before Heart Day? Not Kiss Kiss. That was one before that. Oh, I don't know the name of it, but the Valentine's collection from last year anyway. It had sort of this triangular geometric print with like black outlined triangles. So I've used a couple of those, and just to make it blend in a bit better, I'm going to go ahead and just outline around some of my other scraps, just so it gives that same sort of lined, oh, excuse my fat head there. Well, that was graceful, wasn't it? Not my best angle. Yeah, where was I? What was I saying? I was saying things that probably made no sense. Outlines, yes, just to give that same outline feel further along the page so that the outlined pieces don't seem too odd. So I'm backing my paper with my photo with some white cardstock, again, which is a scrap actually. I keep a little drawer of scraps of white cardstock specifically for this. So I'm going through the rest of the scraps that I pulled out, just because I know that I want to have another layer. It feels a little bit too blank. And then I find on the opposite side of the stripe, the black and white stripe, I'd use this really pretty heart print. Now I don't necessarily want the hearts, I want the colours. The colours match perfectly, which is odd because even though they came from my scrap box, they are actually all different collections and different manufacturers in some cases. Are they? Maybe not. Maybe they are all crepe paper. I do have a lot of crepe paper scraps, but they're definitely different collections, so shut up, Zoe. So I'm just gonna add some tape to the back of my photo here because I'm going to add some foam because I'd like it to be nice and popped off this background. And you can see my vellum pieces, my vellum triangles there are moving around. I have not adhered those down yet, purely because I'm going to actually use my embellishments to adhere them down so they don't have any glue showing through. I know, yeah, I could have stapled them, and usually I do, but I didn't want to do that. Just for once, just something a bit different. I think I've got enough tape on the back of that. Jeez, going ham with the tape today. Oh dear me. Forgive me if I'm a little wired. It's been a week. It's yes. Last week we had Rafferty Hill. This week we had Amari Hill. And my children are going down like dominoes. So yeah, I'm running on coffee and willpower alone, I think, because I'm certainly not getting any sleep. So yeah, if I'm a little frazzled and a little hyper, it's the coffee, and I apologise. I don't really apologise. Hyper is better than tired and whining, I suppose. Anyway, whilst I'm waffling away, I found these puffy stickers in my puffy sticker tray thingy, and I think they're from a super old crepe paper collection. Yeah, really old one. I don't know how long those have been in my stash. I think it was Craft Market. I can't actually see the header. I want to say Craft Market. So I'm just using some of those to adhere down my vellum, and then just popping a few extras on just for funs. Why not? So I've printed out some journaling and cut it into strips, and I'm just going to use my Xyron sticker maker to add the adhesive to the back of them. I've been asked about this. I do this because it adds adhesive to the whole thing, and it's a really good adhesive, and it doesn't sort of leave any marks. You know, sometimes if you use thin tape, you can sort of see the thin tape, because I print my journaling out just on like copy paper. I don't do it onto cardstock, so I like the adhesive to be nice and perfectly hidden behind it so that you can't see it at all. Certainly if you print out onto cardstock instead, you're not going to have the same issues I do, but I don't see the point in wasting cardstock just for a little bit of journaling, because I'm cheap like that. So it's just a little bit of journaling about my cat. He was our first baby, as it were, our Cam. He was without a doubt my favourite cat ever. He was so annoying and obnoxious. We loved him all the more for it. He was a funny old thing. If you irritated him, you would inevitably find something that you loved piddled on later that day. He once ruined a very expensive leather jacket of mine, because I'd shooed him off the dining table, so he peed on my leather jacket. He was quite the cat, and he died about 6 years ago now. Yeah, so I thought it was about time I did a page for him, and we have very few pictures of him actually, which is a real shame. I guess we weren't thinking about taking pictures of him. Anywho, waffle aside, I've picked up these alphas. They're like a really thin wood grain alpha. I think they're called Campfire. I think. And I've used some crosses that I think were Studio Calico. Have I added anything else? No, I haven't. And I'm going to use my ruler to do a straight border this time. I feel like adding a doodly border would be incredibly distracting because everything else is so straight and so precise. I feel like a doodly border would just be wrong, but equally I wanted something around the edges just to make sure the eye is not floating around the page. It just keeps your eye really nice and central on the page. Excuse me. So yeah, just doodling around with my favourite journaling pen, which is the Moma Muji pen. I buy them on eBay. They're relatively inexpensive, but they are my favourite thing in the world. I have this Studio Calico stamp set, and I'm just using the plus sign or the cross or the Swiss cross, whatever you prefer to call it, just to stamp a few crosses around because it felt too clean for my tastes. So I wanted to just give it a little bit more oomph. So I'm going to add some in cracked pistachio as well, and I'm doing shadow stamping as well. Just to add a little bit of something. I'm not very good at clean and simple, as you know. I am the queen of just add something else, just one more thing. And here it is in action, because I'm adding some splatters as well. Just one more thing. In gold Heidi Swap Colour Shine, and I'm also going to add some spray. some ink splatters with Heidi Swap Colour Shine in black. Just because it felt like the black was a little unbalanced on the page with the plus signs and the giant stripe. It just felt like it needed a little bit more, just to give it a bit more balance, and to my eye it does. Maybe to yours you'd have left it long before the splatters. Maybe. But that's it. That's all I do to this one. And I really like how it came out. And it's a really fun way to use up some scraps without, you know, using full pieces, I suppose. So let me know down below what you think. I'm really enjoying doing these scrap box ones. And I will see you next time. Bye!